Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, and Kakadash. Now, this Babylon the Great is described in the Bible as a great city. And this great city was to be utterly destroyed and burnt with fire by the 10 kings. You go to Revelation 17, it talks about how these 10 kings would hate the whore, the great city, Babylon the Great, and burn her utterly with fire. Then in Revelation 18, it talks about God is going to judge this place and burn it utterly with fire. And so you have confusion because people talking about Babylon, the great city, is a religion, which is just ignorance because a city is a city. See, there's no such thing as a city being a religion. Now, the nation of Israel was called Zion and Jerusalem, and a city, a holy city. The people was called a city, not a religion. A people was called a city because that was their homeland. It was never, 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 never some kind of philosophy, some kind of belief system that was called a city. And so for people to do these things is just insane because I don't care what kind of parable you talking about or what kind of allegory you trying to create, that don't match with Babylon the Great. It's no allegory that can fit with Babylon the Great, especially not or some religious system, some organization, which is not. They don't deal with organizations in the Bible. It has nations, nations of people, families. That's the only organization. And so when you go into Revelation 18, it's a specific thing that shows you who is Babylon the Great. And let's see how this these things match up with America. They match up with America perfectly because America is the great city because it has the most powerful military in the world, and so America put sanctions on other nations if they get out of line with what the American empire want to go down. You see, let's go back to Revelation 17 real quick and get this last verse here at the bottom. It say, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. You know how America reigned over the kings of the earth? Because they put sanctions on other nations. If the other nations are not doing what America want them to do, they put sanctions on them, punish them. Only a ruler can punish somebody. See, a child can't punish the parents. America is the parents of these other nations. And so when you go into Revelation 18, it gives you details of America, this great city. It says here in verse 9, it said the kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived deliciously with her. So the kings of the earth is being ruled over by America and they living deliciously with her. America give aid, financial aid to other nations. That's why when they meet up in the United Nations conference, assembly, or headquarters, they uh, had a tussle with Trump because Trump said, "We not giving y'all no governmental aid anymore. We're gonna take our aid away since y'all wanna vote against our agenda of building a embassy in Jerusalem." You see, they want to vote against America doing this, but America is the boss. So America say we not gonna give y'all financial aid anymore. We not gonna supply y'all with this money so y'all can live deliciously with us. We gonna keep the money to ourselves. You see? Now when you look at Revelation 11, it say, and the merchants of the earth weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. See, the other nations live deliciously also because they sell their merchandise in America, because America has a major slave class that's been here for 400 years, and many immigrants that buys merchandise at an extreme rate with all of the holiday seasons that they have. Every holiday season, you go to Walmart and they got a major sale going on, and most of these products is coming from the other nation. Now, when you look at verse 12, it say the merchandise. It start breaking down the merchandise, the thing that's being sold. Now, you cannot have a religion. You don't. They don't sell things in a religion. See, Babylon the Great, in the great city, these things are being sold in this great city. When you have a city, you have merchandise, you have businesses, you have homes and businesses. See, it's not a lot going on in uh, a city. Homes, businesses. You might have the temple, some kind of temple to the gods. The temple to the gods ain't selling nothing. You go to that temple and you worship that God. You don't go there to sell what these items is. You don't go there to sell gold, silver, precious stones, or pearls. And uh, gold is not on these temples. These temples are not made of gold. They don't have a lot of gold in them. And then verse 13 really put a stamp on what is being sold, and that these religions and organizations are not selling these things. It's a great city that's selling these things, that's ruling over the other cities and nations and kings of the earth. Verse 13 it says, and cinnamon, odors, ornaments, frankincense, and wine. Now, wine is a major commodity. It's a major uh, item that's being sold in these cities. Oil is a major situation. The whole economy of America is ran off of the oil. If the oil prices go up, everything else go up in the economy. The economy loses value if the oil go up. It's all about oil, flour, wheat. Then you got beasts, sheep, horses. They selling all kind of animals. They selling the animals to eat. They selling the animals like horses that you can uh, race, put in your yard. You see. Then you got chariots, cars, automobiles, vehicles, things that you ride in, vans, jeeps, trucks, motorcycles, cars, scooters. Uh, they selling planes, they selling yachts, they selling boats. All of these things are chariots, things that carry people. That's probably a $1 trillion business that these people are selling. Then the ultimate identifier is slaves. They're selling slaves in this place. When you go to the Christian church, they're not selling no slave. They're not even hiring people. Uh, they're not hiring butlers and people's. No, people work for a voluntary purpose. When you go to the Buddha and you go to whatever religion, because they saying it's the world empire of religion, all the religions combined together. So when you go into the other religions, they don't go there to get a job and the people paying them a paycheck. That's not what they doing. See, and they not going in there for a long period of time because they have to work on the outside. Most people work on the outside. The pastor be the only one that the one person in that whole temple or worship to this God. One person is working, one or two people, and don't have a job. Most everybody else got a job and they working. They slaving for another corporation because that's how America is the great, Babylon the Great, and they are the people that own slaves. They have 4 million employees quit their jobs in America. You see, because they had 4 million slaves. Now, when you look at souls of men, that's even the they the whole life of these people is being controlled by America. They got them in prisons. Uh, the prison population is full of blacks and Hispanics, and they work them for nothing. See, they own these people's life. They are utterly uh, hard bondage slaves, where they working for being pimped out by these corporations, working for pennies because they committed a crime and couldn't pay their bond money or couldn't afford a lawyer. You see, that's America. Now, when you go to verse 17, it talks about shipmasters, sailors of ships. The shipping industry depends on America. See, it depends on America, and it was started in America, right there. I think in either Philadelphia on the East Coast. This one guy he started shipping boxes on a boat, and then they created bigger boats and bigger ships and start moving faster and moving all around the world. It started in Babylon the Great. That's why in verse 18 it say, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning. See, they saw this city burning from afar, and they cried and said, what city is like unto this great city? See, this was a major city, a major place to go where you had merchandise flying all over the place and all of the shopping malls and grocery stores and convenience stores and all these stores. And people was loving to go to that place. Amusement parks, see, water parks. You had all kind of businesses going on and merchandise, things being sold, and it was a great city, ruling over all the other cities. Everybody want to come to America, even if it's just for tourism. New York City, they have a major city that they trying to go and visit in America. Many cities, L.A., Chicago, Florida, Texas, many cities, Denver. It's the great city. That's what this place is. And when this place go down, verse 19 it say, uh, and they shall cast dust on their heads and cry weeping and wailing, saying, at last, that great city were wherein were made rich all that had ships. See, if you got a ship, you getting rich off of America. In the sea by reason of her costliness, because America dictates the cost of all of these things through their deal that they made with Saudi Arabia. That's why it's called the petrodollar. The petrodollar, when you go into currency, it's the top currency in the world. The petrodollar, the the pound and the euro, these dollars. That's why it's a dual nation. Let's go here. When you go in Revelation 13 and 11, it's a dual nation. It's the pound and the euro. That's why I say the two horn. This beast, America, is two horn. Now a lot of people say that the two horn is the political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, but horns don't talk about. Horns is for a nation. Horns represent nations in the Bible. It don't represent political parties. See, in the nation of the British and all of these nations over there that's using the euro and the pound, these individuals represent a kingdom. Those are kings over there. They got their own kingdom and their own government. And they teaming up with America. They're the major allies to America, the NATO. This NATO alliance, they dictate the money system, and it's all based off of the oil. And so that's how these people are getting rich together, and they ruling all over the all other peoples of the world, and everybody flooding it, visiting their countries because they're living in great wealth, because they are the children of Esau, who was given the blessing to rule. That's who the red dragon is in Revelation 12. But let's get that blessing. Not ended on that. Blessing started at 38. It said, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing? My father bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, meaning the richness of the earth. See, that's why they living in great wealth, and the dew of heaven from above. See, they gonna be living above everybody, high on the hog, exalted like the eagle. Verse 40 saying, by thy sword thou shalt live. See, the greatest military. They got 800 military bases out of the 840 in existence. They got 800 of them, almost 100%. And they make all the weapons and build all the ships and things. Now it says, and it shall come to pass that when thou shalt have the rulership, that's what dominion means, that thou shalt break the yoke off of his neck, meaning Jacob, the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is not going to be able to Salakia, the devil calling my phone. They're not going to be able to defeat um, this rulership and this blessing that these so-called white peoples was given by the Most High. And so I'm gonna leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shah, Bashem and Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.